What's up, everybody? There's a video I want to make because I want to just talk about everything that's happened in life. It's been like 8 months since I posted, so this YouTube channel is almost like a journal. It's just like a way I can go to express, talk about what I've been thinking about, and kind of just relay some concepts. So just to begin, something I realized is like uh, taking my own will out of things, right? Like this season, I'm ending medical school. I'm finishing off in like 5 or 6 months. So I'm gonna be a doctor in like 6 months, which is kind of crazy because in 2021, I moved out to the East Coast to just begin this journey. So just finishing that up, and then like there's another 4 year span where I don't know exactly where I'm gonna go. You gotta apply to residency, so you're looking at, are you gonna stay in this region of the country? Are you gonna go to this school? Are you gonna live in this place? Are you gonna be close to your friends? Are you gonna go move away from family again? These are kind of things that I'm considering, right? Or are at the forefront of my mind. So first thing is just being adaptable, right? Like I think these 4 years of medical school teach you like how to be adaptable, how to adapt to different personality types, because you see some crazy stuff in the hospital, right? So you have to learn how to just maneuver through that, but then also maneuvering through life, like maneuvering through whatever is next. So yeah, I have this like 2 week period where I'm just kind of just chilling, just at home, working on hobbies, reading and things like that. So a lot of times you kind of feel like you have to be doing something, like I have to be making money, I have to be studying, or I have to be, being productive. But man, it's okay to be bored. It's weird to say, especially in this day and age, but it's okay to be bored. It's okay to just kick it and just sit there and be with your own mind, be with your thoughts, be present, be in the moment. That's a skill set in itself. Like when I was growing up in Minnesota, man, sometimes some summers you'd be so bored. Like you watch a TV show, or especially like, let's say you were grounded, right? Your parents said you can't go to the park. Like in my case, me and my brothers, we wrestled, we fought or something. We did something and we couldn't go out. We were grounded. So we just be there, just looking out the window, watching leaves fall, watching time pass, watching cars drive by. And I was just, I guess at the time it sucked, right? It was terrible. I hated that as a young kid. But now in hindsight, I'm like, wow, it taught me how to be bored. Like sometimes I get home and immediately I'm just on my computer looking up YouTube, looking up the next source of entertainment. What's the next video? And then I get frustrated when there's no YouTube, there's no video, there's nothing interesting, right? I almost get mad at the content creators. Like, man, why aren't you guys putting out good content? Whereas I'm looking to be entertained. And when you're looking to be entertained, you put like your mind in the hands of somebody else, which is just not something I ever wanted to do, even though I've done it. So first thing I learned is just like in this season of 2 weeks of just being kind of chill and having time to myself, like it's okay to be bored. It's okay not to be hungry and not to be a slave to your ambition, which is, I don't think is ever said enough in this lifetime of ours, especially being young. I'm 25, so I don't know how old you guys are watching the video, but you could be younger and older, but I'm sure you kind of deal with the same things because we are kind of all living this human experience. Let me shift the camera a little bit. See guys, this video is gonna be all organic, just supernatural. So if the video angles are changing, just bear with me. Another thing I realized, I recently took up salsa. So I started doing salsa lessons in New York City at Baila Society. Crazy great instructors, great environment, great community, all the good stuff, everything you could ever imagine. And I was always, I was always that guy that I could turn a party up. I remember in high school, I led like a dance ceremony at this thing called leadership camp. So I was always like inclined to music and expression, but I never would have thought I would do a dance class. I never would thought I would just be in a salsa group. I never thought I'd be like in a training or competition team. But life has its own way of just putting things in front of you. So I started this salsa group. Super cool. You meet a lot of different people that I wouldn't necessarily run into if I wasn't in this salsa group. And it's actually interesting because I used to be super into like martial arts. Right? I used to train jiu-jitsu. And when I would train, I was a freak at it. So I would train like 6 days a week. Sometimes I do 2 days. I would pay for privates. I would study the art on YouTube, and then something just kind of like clicked. Something just left me with jiu-jitsu. Like I stopped liking the art. I didn't have that inner motivation. Like I couldn't even force it onto myself. It was like a season had passed. So I just looked for something new, and then salsa came. So I kind of left the Muay Thai, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo, all that stuff alone. I've been doing salsa, and it fulfilled all of my heart's desires. And it's surprising because I didn't even know that these were desires of mine. So super grateful for that. Super interested in just kind of seeing where it takes me next. It's already helped me meet a lot of people. So if you're in your life, like if you're seeing different things and sometimes the season has ended and you have to put things away and graduate to a new thing, a new hobby, a new home, a new place, don't always resist it, right? You resist What you resist will persist. I read that somewhere. I didn't come up with that, but what you resist will persist. And then in doing so also, like, you got to understand that everything is a sacrifice, right? So if you're going to be a doctor, like how I was thinking when I started medical school, like at first I thought I'd be a surgeon, right? So to be a surgeon requires a great sacrifice. You have to sacrifice at least 8 to 10 years to really master your craft, right? And then you have to sacrifice all these hours in the hospital, sacrifice being married to your job, sacrifice missing things, missing holidays, not being able to go out. I had to kind of weigh the option when I was getting ready for residency. I was like, man, is that a sacrifice I want to make? Not the surgeon sacrifice. Now I'm doing emergency medicine. Emergency medicine is a different sacrifice. You got to sacrifice seeing thousands of people in a week, working, shift work, not being appreciated, but meeting so many different people, dealing and understanding so many different pathologies or like disease processes, learning how to move fast, move on your feet, learning how to manage critically sick people, learning how to manage people that just need a simple refill and to be sent home, learning how to deal with people at the worst days, learning how to deal with like heightened emotional situations. And that was a sacrifice I was willing to do because I could still work on business. I could still act in a movie. I could still do salsa. I could still grapple. I could still have the life I wanted. So I never really thought about that when I would take up new hobbies or new things, right? I was never really thinking about the sacrifice. So when I was doing jiu-jitsu, right, for anyone out there that's doing martial arts and things like that, like if you want to be a boxer, if you want to do jiu-jitsu, you have to be willing to understand that injuries come. You could get caught in the heel hook, an anterior LCL, your ACL, your MCL. You could break your knee. You could break your spine doing a fall. You can get staph. You can get sick. But you also could become a really good grappler. You could learn how to defend yourself. You could win some championships if you take it that route. So that's just the risk of it. If you want to be a boxer, you'll learn how to defend yourself. But at a certain degree, you also learn that there's brain damage associated with it. There's head injury. There's migraines at night. There's weight cuts getting ready for fights. There's the nerves getting ready for fights. There's like having to discipline yourself and all these different things that come with boxing. But there's also the glory. There's also the money that you can make. So it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice? And then what is your constitution? Like, I feel like everyone is made for certain things, right? You just have to figure out what you were made to do in this world. Me, like tall and lanky and slender, like I'm better as a basketball player than a football player, right? But someone short and stocky with a little neck like this, they're better wrestlers, right? Certain people, certain complexions are better in the sun. Others are better in cold climates. So it's just like really realizing, like, again, what are you willing to sacrifice? But what are you also made of? Which is, I guess, a different beast in itself. Third thing I'm thinking about too right now is this is a kind of like a event, a free ride of ideas. In picking residency programs, I'm realizing that I could work anywhere as long as I have a good team. And I feel like I have to be the person that is a good team, if that makes sense. So they say, like, if you want friendship, be a friend first. If you want love, give love first. If you want respect, give respect first. So if I want to go to a residency program or a next place I go to, or be a doctor in a place, I have to be a good leader. I have to be like compassionate and ethical and moral. And I have to think about others. And I have to put others in front of me. And I have to be righteous, all these different things. So I'm realizing that wherever I go next year, like, I can be, as long as I give leadership, I give these qualities to this place, it doesn't matter what it gives back, because you kind of change the culture. So yeah, man, I'm excited for whatever life is going to throw. I'm ready to deal with anything. I'm also thinking, well, one thing I really know is that as long as I have a nice place to live, I'm talking like, you go to your bed, you look forward to being in your room, your living room, your couch, your kitchen, everything. As long as I have like a place where I can go and recover from the day, as long as I have some good transportation, I could work anywhere. Like right now, me and my brother live together, and it's heaven on earth. Like living with your older brother, you guys just being like kids again, talking to someone about everything, and someone knowing you in and out, someone knowing everything about you. It's probably the best experience, like especially if you have that sibling relationship. So yeah, as long as I have that, have a good home to go to, got a good car to take me from here and there, I can work in any condition. I could work in like an Afghanistan war zone condition. As long as I can escape, I could recover, I could kind of think and reflect, at home base, at a nice, comfortable place. And that's the thing too, is a lot of people are working. I have buddies that work construction. And man, I know we gotta all pay our bills, right? But when you work 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours, all you can do is sleep. There's no time for reflection. There's no time to ponder on the deeper things of life. There's no time to really think about your character, right? Think about like situations, how you handle situations. Like you also need time of leisure, which is craziness in our society, but you can be rich while having time of leisure. You know, you have to just do high leverage things. Like if you run a business, and especially my business, like I know that making content is not high leverage, it doesn't get us clients, but reaching out to people, building relationships, negotiating things, being in certain platforms gets us clients. Now I could spend 10 hours making content and feel good about myself because I did something for 10 hours, but it didn't really get money in the bank. It didn't get anyone paid. It didn't get us in front of people to give value to them. So it's like doing the high leverage things and then also allowing yourself time for leisure. That's where creativity is spurred. Like I don't think if creativity was like a flower, creativity doesn't grow in barren deserts, right? Creativity doesn't grow in places where there's no time to nourish it. There's no quiet, calm. There's no stillness to allow that to happen, to flourish. So yeah, man, if you're working at night, if you're working like gas station, 2 jobs to make ends meet, I know that's the season, but allow yourself time to really reflect, to think, because all we do have is our character. Like when you die, all you have is your consciousness, how you leveled up and elevated in character, and that's super, super important. What else did I want to say on camera, man? And even speaking about business, like the next concept is just one thing always leads to another. And I realized that. I realized that first, when I first got into business, I was trying to make things happen. I was trying to reach out to 200 people a day and trying to just put the numbers in. But I realized that I have to kind of be proactive and put myself in front of people and put our business, put our brand in front of people. But I also have to allow life to throw me opportunities and take every opportunity, and every opportunity stacks onto another. I remember I did like a public speech, and then that speech led me to getting like a news interview. And that news interview led me to getting a news story and a news video done on me. And then that led me to a podcast at iHeartRadio in New York. And that led me to a school reaching out to me and inquiring about our business services. So like one thing always leads to another. And in life, you can't skip 5th grade. And what I mean by that is you have to learn the fundamentals for something to work, right? So if there's a lesson you're not learning, life won't let you move on until you learn that lesson. So this year, the lessons I learned, man, one thing in particular was like seeing everyone as yourself, you know, like treating others as you want to be treated. And it's kind of crazy to say that, but it really is a reality. Like, and it's not like a fluffy fairy tale thing. It's reality. So for example, if someone stole from you, right? Or if someone betrayed you, you have to think about yourself and you have to consider, have I ever betrayed someone? Okay, how would I have wanted to be treated if someone found out I betrayed them, right? Or if someone was late to a meeting, have you ever been late to a meeting? Okay, how would you want to be treated if you were late to a meeting and it was really because your kids had soccer practice and one kid was feeling sick and throwing up and you couldn't get him out of bed and the dogs were making a mess in the house and then you had to turn the pot off before the kitchen caught on fire, all these different things, right? How would you want to be treated if you went through that circumstance and presented yourself in front of another? So it's very complex, like it's very novel. What else, man? So there's one last thing too. It's like human relationships are so interesting because I think that we go into relationships bringing like all these childhood traumas, all these childhood needs and things like that, things that were not fulfilled, and we just throw it onto another person and expect them to fulfill it, right? And I think that's what a lot of arguments stem from. Like sometimes you'll argue with your girl or whoever, and you think that she's frustrated because you didn't text her, but the frustration actually is because when she was a kid, she felt the same emotion when her dad came home and he didn't say anything to her and her brother, and he, you know, paid attention to her brother, not her. And you're thinking that, oh, a simple text is making her frustrated, but it's just like a deep-rooted, almost like a deep ocean of emotions that live under the surface in our subconscious that we never have access to. And that's the thing about, like, you have to know yourself because you have to study yourself like you study a textbook. Yes, you actually have to study yourself more than you study your craft, because there's so many things we pick up as kids, so many things that we pick up in our subconscious through life, through dealing with people that we repress and suppress, and they only come to the surface in crazy situations, right? So they always say like most jails and crazy places are full of people that acted out in a moment of temporary insanity where the emotions overtook them, Why? Because they couldn't, they had never gotten the chance to know themselves. They didn't know what was living underneath the surface. So they got so mad, they saw red, like people say, and they just acted without really understanding themselves. So I want a friend that knows himself, right? My friend has to know exactly what situations he has to avoid, what situations he can be around, what drinks he should drink and what things he shouldn't drink, how long or how little he should sleep. And it's just the process of life, like learning how to learn yourself. So knowledge of yourself is the name of the game. It actually literally is like a survival tool. It's what will keep us safe, because you now know how to avoid situations, and avoid, what you shouldn't be around or what you don't want to be around, what's counterintuitive for you. Let's see if there's any other lessons I learned this year. Yeah, it's this lesson I really can't articulate too well because it's kind of something I'm wrestling with. But what happens to another person, or how another person reacts to us, has nothing to do with us. So earlier in the video, I said that most people, so someone can get mad at you for a simple little thing, right? Let's say someone got mad because you didn't listen to something they said, right? Or you didn't call back in time. And the true reason why they're mad is because in the past they dealt with someone that didn't call back in time, and that was how they figured out that the person was cheating on them. But for you, you just didn't call back in time because maybe you fell asleep or something, right? And if you take on that person's emotion, you take on that person's frustration as your own, right? You're taking on something that really doesn't belong to you, right? Because that experience belongs to the other person. The reason they're mad belongs to them, and you can't control that. So you can't control another person. All you can do is control yourself, control your reaction. You can't even control necessarily what happens to you, but you can control your attitude. Like when I go out after I make this video, I don't know what life is going to throw today, but I can control my attitude towards it. And I think that's why everyone has like different principles that they live on. Like some people are stoics, right? Stoicism says like amor fati. Amor fati means love of fate. So whatever happens to you is supposed to happen to you, right? And I really adopted that, especially like being in a hospital, going through everything, living in all the different countries and states I've lived in. I'm realizing that I didn't choose to be born in Cameroon, right? I didn't choose to be born to the parents I was born to. And I was fortunate to have a family of loving parents and all that, but I didn't choose to do that. I didn't choose to come to the US, right? But life had its own plan. Life motivated my family, right? And then that's what kind of got me here. I didn't choose a lot of things, right? I'm not choosing to keep myself breathing, right? It's like something else. There's another force keep me alive, making sure everything stays in motion, making sure the planets rotate at a certain speed, making sure the weather, the seasons, making sure the temperature is not too hot to where it's inhospitable, where you can't live, but not too cold to where the animals are going to die and the vegetation is going to freeze. So you have to understand that there's so much that is not in our control. So Amor Fati says, love of fate. Whatever happens is for my good. Whatever happens, the gods have willed for me. And I just love that concept because it can help you actually, navigate anything. So for example, man, if I got stuck in a shipwreck right now, if I went outside and for some reason someone said, hey, you can get in my boat and let's just take a trip around New York. And for some reason, winds came on and we found ourselves in another state, right? Or somewhere else, Australia or something after a few days. Like now I'm in a shipwreck. I have to love fate. I'm sure that shipwreck is going to teach me lessons. I'm sure that season is going to teach me lessons. So that principle, that ruling principle, that mindset towards life is beautiful, man. Like love of fate, Amor Fati. So if anything happens, Amor Fati. My buddy, actually, my best friend had that tattoo on his wrist in college. And I never really understood it. I used to read it, but now like reading Stoicism, I can kind of see what he was thinking about. And that's the thing about life. Like also our friends, like a lot of people come into our lives and it's not even our choice, And then in hindsight, we're like, wow, I'm so glad this person was in our life, whether for the positive or for negative. If you have a mindset that says love of fate, you love everything that happens to you, you see that every person is your teacher. Every man is your teacher. So man, I feel like I said a lot. It's already been like 19 to 20 minutes, but like I said earlier in the video, I'm going to make YouTube videos again because I have a lot of insight, a lot of lessons I learned that I feel like I got to put out in the world. I don't know who it's going to touch, but I don't want to edit these videos. I don't want to make it clean you know, clickbaity and things like that. I just want to put this out into the world and then just see where it lands. So I think this is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you stayed to the end or if you left in the middle, that's okay as well. Hopefully something from my experience helped better your life. And yeah, I'm More Fati.